guys, it's Emma and I'm back today for you with another video. Today I am going to be recommending a genre that I'm not very well versed in, that I'm trying to become more versed in, and that's science fiction. I need easily accessible science fiction because your girl's a little slow. Most of these I would say are very well accessible, especially because the ones that I think might be less accessible than the others have movies. So, you know, you can watch the movie and therefore you can get like a better visual on it. Before we start, you guys, I actually have three things. First, I would really appreciate it if you guys would go down to the description box to check out all the links that I have there. Second, I actually want to try and do a tiny little Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for me, leave them down in the comments below, okay? And then lastly, also in the comments, I would really appreciate if you guys could give me some more science fiction recommendations, okay? Because I am trying to get more into being a science fiction girly. We'll just see how it goes, okay? But with all of that out of the way, let's get right into these recommendations. The first book that I want to recommend to you guys is Ailuros by Matt Doyle. This book is about a recon team that are going into this abandoned capsule, basically, to try and find out what happened to the crew, if there are any survivors, and just try and scavenge whatever they can for their company. And a horrific surprise befalls them, and they have to survive this horrific surprise. I gave this book 4 stars. Okay, I loved this. I would say that if you're a fan of Alien, you'll really like this. It's really short too, and it's also got like kind of this psychological thing going on too, because it's not just the story of the recon team, it's also dealing with 2 of the people on said team, their relationship. So I'm just gonna leave y'all with, if you like Alien, if you're a fan of that franchise, Miss Ripley herself, I would pick this up, okay? It's also got a really diverse cast of LGBTQ plus characters, so if you're looking for a book that has that, definitely go for Ailuros. The next one, oh my goodness gracious, okay. It is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, and its subsequent sequels, because it's a trilogy. It's the Chaos Walking trilogy. It's about Todd, who is living in this town just full of men, and all of the men can hear each other's thoughts. And one day, Todd happens upon this crashed spaceship with a girl inside named Viola, and he can't read her thoughts, but she can read his. So it's all about Todd and Viola trying to keep away from the men in this town who are very, very intrigued with Viola and where she came from. I loved this trilogy. Okay, this was probably one of the very first sci-fi books that I'd ever read. All right, and The Knife of Never Letting Go, it ends on a cliffhanger, and then The Ask and the Answer, and then Monsters of Men were absolutely terrific. Okay, I gave The Knife of Never Letting Go 4 stars, I believe, and then I gave The Ask and the Answer and Monsters of Men 5 stars. It has like this corrupt government type of deal. If you're a fan of, I would say maybe Firestarter, or just pieces of media where the characters are running from the government, I definitely think that you'll be enthralled with this, okay, because wow, the shit that Todd and Viola go through in these 3 books is absolutely astonishing, okay? So I definitely recommend The Knife of Never Letting Go and its subsequent sequels, just plainly because it is so good, and I think it's very easily accessible. It was so well done, so yes, I really do recommend the Chaos Walking trilogy. It is so good. The next book that I want to recommend is Dune by Frank Herbert. Dune is about this boy named Paul Atreides, and he and his family are given fiefdom over this planet called Arrakis, or Dune, and it's made of, it's basically a desert planet. But the reason why Dune, the planet, is so important is because it is the main producer of the spice, melange. And the spice is not only very addictive, but it also gives people the ability to see into the future, which allows for hyperspace travel. It's all about Paul and his family adjusting to moving from their native planet Caladan to Arrakis, and them finding out that not everybody wants them to have control over Dune. I loved it much more than I thought I would, if I'm gonna be completely honest here. I gave it 4 stars. I read the sequel, Dune Messiah. I gave it 3 stars. Literally, look at this. Look at that difference. I recommend Dune. I definitely recommend Dune Messiah. And I would say that I recommend the rest of the series. But, there we go. Okay. But yeah, Dune was so good. It was so political. It had this air of just, I guess, like hopefulness at the very end of it, because we're following Paul, who has literally been thrown into a political war, and we are thrown into it alongside him. Okay, I loved Paul. Paul is now, I think, one of my new favorite characters of literature. The religious stuff in this book, the lore, the mythology is so freaking cool. It reads to me anyway as like kind of Middle Eastern inspired. The only cons that I would say about Dune is that it's very much told and not shown for, in my opinion, a lot of very climactic events. The chapter will end basically with right before this climactic event happens, and then the chapter will end, and then the next chapter will be telling us about what happens, you know, what happened between the pages. But I think that if you're a fan of Star Wars, Game of Thrones, most definitely, this is basically space Game of Thrones. I love this, okay? It's very space opera-ish, very epic sci-fi, okay? So I would say that if you have been thinking about reading Dune, like me, definitely go for it. This next one, I feel like it might not be for everybody, but you never know. That is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Basterica. This is a book that is set in our future, where overpopulation has run rampant and is choking our planet, and so cannibalism has been legalized. And we follow Marcos, who is like this, he's like a manager, or he has like a managerial type position at one of these plants that basically grows, farms, and then slaughters these people that have been set up for cannibalism. And we follow him as one of his bosses gives him a promotion gift in the form of a human woman. I gave this book 5 stars just plainly because it was so earth-shattering. It is disturbing, it is graphic, it is horrific at points to read. I definitely would check the trigger warnings before you read this, okay, because damn, there is some dark stuff in here, okay? But the story is so fascinating. The writing itself, I would say, is the real eye catcher. It's almost like you're being led along by the Pied Piper, I would say. Like you're reading about all of these horrific and brutal and barbaric things that are being done to people, but this writing is pulling you along, kind of edging you along, being like, come on, you know, you want to know what happens next. The ending had me like my jaw on the floor. I was stuttering for maybe like 5 minutes trying to figure out that came out of nowhere. All right, but yes, I would say that if you're looking for more science fiction horror-esque type books, definitely go for Tender is the Flesh. It was so good, it was so creepy, it was so disturbing. So that's another book that you can put on your list if you're looking for disturbing books. I definitely read this during a kick that I had of reading only disturbing books, and damn did this hit the mark. Following Tender is the Flesh, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. This book is about a post-apocalyptic world, where basically humanity has been decimated, and the only survivors of this decimation are 5 people, and they're being kept alive forever by this sadistic, horribly sadistic and malevolent AI. And it basically tortures them. I gave this 4 stars. It was very short. I read it in one sitting. It reminded me a lot of, honestly, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I can't really tell y'all why. I would say that this book would be on the same vein as Tender is the Flesh, because they're both disturbing, they're both creepy, they're both horrifying. I would say if you're looking for more body horror type science fiction, definitely go for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, because just the imagery in this book is so strange. It is so eerie and just chilling. If you're looking for a really quick read that has body horror and science fiction elements in it with a malevolent AI type of like Terminator type of thing, definitely go for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, because this one, let's just say every time I hear this title, I have to take a moment. Okay, Go by Junji Ito. Junji Ito has been plotted as a bulwark of just horror manga, and after reading Gyo, I can definitely see why, and I am definitely one of those supporters. All right, Gyo is basically about these fish that have these crab-like legs that are now walking all over the world. And it's the stench that is just completely overpowering. And these weird little robot legs get tired of fish and they now want humans. I gave Gyo 5 stars. It was damn creepy. All right, the imagery in here, all right, because it's manga, is absolutely just jaw-dropping, okay, because it is, this is some of the weirdest body horror, not even just most disturbing, not even creepy, it's just strange, downright weird imagery in here, weird in a damn good way. It's more so kind of like a science fiction body horror disaster type book, I would say. So you've also got the element of seeing how humans act in apocalyptic situations, in life-altering situations, which, I don't know, I think will chill a lot of people. This book is something that I have never read the likes of ever before, okay? So I would say, again, if you're looking for more science fiction, more body horror, particularly body horror manga, definitely go for Gyo, okay? I cannot recommend this enough to just be weirded out. This book is freaky. Okay, on a lighter note, how about that? On a lighter note, we have Star Wars, The High Republic Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. This is about the Jedi trying to find out why this freight ship basically tore itself apart in hyperspace. And alongside that, they have to try and stop all of the debris from shooting out into hyperspace and shooting out into like different wormhole exits that are basically endangering billions of lives on planets, because some of the pieces of debris are as big as planets' moons. So it's all about the Jedi trying to save all of these planets from shrapnel, and also trying to figure out what caused the freight ship to rip itself apart in the first place. I gave this 4 stars, okay? This was when I was trying to start my Star Wars reading, and wow, this book was so good. First of all, we get a Wookiee Jedi. We get a Wookiee Jedi, everybody. Can I get a round of motherfucking applause? Okay, but I love Wookiees. They're probably like my favorite creature in Star Wars. I love the Wookiees so much. So to see a Wookiee Jedi, finally, oh, I was over the moon. Okay, and just wow, the battle scenes in here were awesome. They were so easy to follow, which in my opinion, I feel like battle scenes, let alone science fiction battle scenes, are very hard for me to like keep up with, because I don't know, I just feel like sometimes battle scenes are very difficult to translate from your mind onto page and have it be able to flow as, I guess, quickly and at the same time as tumultuously as a real battle scene would. But I think that Light of the Jedi did that so well. I think it's set 250 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. and I'm here for it, okay? It's so good. It just gave me the nostalgia of the first time that I ever watched Star Wars. Oh, it was so good. Okay, so I say that if you're a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of Star Wars books, definitely check out Light of the Jedi, all right? It was so good. This next one is literally one of my favorite books of all time, all right? It's become my brand to be a walking piece of propaganda for this book, and that is The Book of M by Peng Shepherd. All right, this is set in our world, but everybody starts to lose their shadows. And with them losing their shadows, they also lose their memories. They lose the ability to remember how to do basic stuff. For example, some people lose the ability to remember that, oh yeah, you have to drink water. Or some people lose the ability of, oh yeah, fire is hot and I can't walk into it. We follow two main characters, Ori and Max, and they're both together, and Max has lost her shadow. So Ori is trying to find a cure, basically, to save Max. And Max is also trying to find a cure, and they both end up trying to find a way to go to Louisiana, which has been publicized that there might be a cure here. This book was so good, all right? It gives you clues first on how the phenomena started, and then clues as to how it could be fixed. And that was so good because it was just so evenly distributed that it at the same time kept me guessing, and also didn't leave it kind of just strung out. The character development for each of these characters is so just shattering, because we follow a lot of characters that don't have shadows, and so the oncoming dread and oncoming tragedy that we feel for these characters is so strong. It was so good. All right, I wept over this book. It's psychological, it's science fiction, and it's also a mystery type of thing, because we have to figure out how people are losing their shadows. So, oh my goodness, I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely love this. It's, like I said, one of my favorite books of all time, and I just cannot gush about it enough because it was just so enthralling. Let's just say that the twists in this book are absolutely devastating. The last book that I want to recommend to you guys is one that I read really recently, one I read last month, I think, and that is You've Lost a Lot of Blood by LaRocca. This one is kind of hard to explain, just plainly because it's kind of like House of Leaves, where if you explain too much, if you give a too detailed synopsis, it's gonna basically spoil the whole thing. So, I'm gonna summarize it as these cops are looking for this gay couple who have been murdering men pretty much all over the country, and they've gone missing. And the only thing that the cops have to find them are these poems, sound bites, and this short story written by the basically more murderous of the two. I could not get enough of this book. All right, it's very short. It's only maybe 200 pages, if that. I've read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by LaRocca. I wasn't as big of a fan of that one, but this one completely surprised me. The writing in here is absolutely beautiful. Okay, it's chilling. I would say that if you're looking for another book like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, definitely go for this one, okay? Because it's got this weird, creepy suspense thing going on, and it's also got a time loop. All right, it's got this really sick-ass time loop, and I just can't get enough of it, okay? I would say that, again, that if you're looking for a really quick read with some really weird imagery, definitely go for You've Lost a Lot of Blood. I would also venture to say that if you're someone who likes kind of that media inside of media type of thing, definitely go for You've Lost a Lot of Blood. So you guys, those were my sci-fi recommendations. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you will pick them up, especially the Book of M, all right, because it's just a thing now. I need you guys to read the Book of M, and I need you to like it. Sorry. If you don't end up liking the Book of M, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Keep your voice down, okay? Just move on, okay? But yeah, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you will pick up some of these books, maybe, and hopefully leave some questions down in the comments, or leave more recs down in the comments, because I'm always looking for a new sci-fi rec, all right? Whether or not I end up reading it, to be decided. But I always do enjoy the recommendation, okay, you guys? So I hope that you guys are staying safe, and, of course, that you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.